In the last 20 years, I built 5 multi-million-dollar companies from scratch. I bootstrapped them all, didn't even know about a lot of them. One of the interesting things about each of those companies is they were all in completely different fields, but they had one thing in common, and that is they all started with the letter M. I started in modeling. I went into medicine. I went into money mortgages. And then I also went into motorsports and mentoring. And today we have our company More Agentic, where we're building more agentic intelligence into companies' businesses. But today I'm going to go back to number 4, which is motorsports. And a lot of people know my story about buying a Ferrari and not even knowing how to drive a stick. And so people say, well, how does a girl who can't even drive a stick own and run a racing company? And it's actually more significant than you think, because it ties in very, very closely to running businesses. And I think I learned a lot more from running a racing company in terms of how do you apply that to consulting businesses than in almost any of them, right? And it would be anywhere from small companies up to $100 billion companies that we would run. So today I'm going to talk to you in terms of a story about running a racing company and how it applies to you and your business, and how not to make the mistakes that I make and how you can catch them before it's too late. So what we're talking about today is the signs. What are the signs that are going to stop your business? And I'm going to tell you this in terms of a situation that happened this past week. And we're calling this the light doesn't stop the car. And in your car, we all have a dashboard. We have one in business as well. And the dashboard tells us how everything is doing. It could be a Tesla, and it could be one of those big screens, or you might have an older car and, still the dials. But whatever it is, every car has signals that it's letting you know how it's doing. And when a light goes off, you don't lean over, go into your glove box and pull out a hammer and just smash the light like, I don't want to know about it. But we do that in business. We see this all the time with companies doing this with their business. They're like, oh, there's a sign that something's not working, and they just ignore it and smash it. Okay. So this is what's causing people a lot of challenges in their business. And this is something that actually happened to me in business in life, actually, this last week. So here's what happened. So I'm driving my car, and I named my car. My car is Klaus, because Klaus was a Christmas present to myself. So I call him Klaus, like Nikolaus. And I'm driving, and when I get in the car, the dial tells me my tire pressure is low, 9 psi. Not such a big deal, right? It's supposed to be pumped up to 41. So it's like, ooh, got to take care of that. Not urgent. And so I go and I put some air in it. It's okay, and it's fine. But then another day comes up, a couple days later, and now it's down 28 psi. Not good. Okay. And I have big fat tires. My tires are wider than I am, and they are run flats. If you know what run flats are, run flats mean that it has a layer within the tire that if you get a flat, you can actually drive on it for 50 miles. As long as you stay under 50 miles per hour and get to a safe spot. Otherwise, if you get a flat, and then you're like trying to, jack it up. Now, I got really good at changing tires, running a racing company. Even though I didn't know how to do one at first, learned how to do that. So this happens, right? Think about your business. You notice a little something's not going right. You kind of patch it up, fix it, put a quick fix on. But a little bit later, it comes back. The problem comes back a little bigger. You think, well, I'll do the same thing. Well, it was a holiday. Couldn't get the air done. So I have to look for other means, right? So I go over to my neighbor and say, hey, do you have an air compressor I can use and, pump up the tires? So he's a great mechanic. I can fix all kinds of things. And he comes over and pumps it up. It's all great. And so I think, fabulous, I'm on my way and everything should be fine. I looked at everything, the tire looked fine, right? But here's the problem. The signal didn't stop the car. It didn't say you can't drive anymore. It just told me something is amiss. And what is the signal in your business that you should be paying attention to and you're not? What is it that is an early warning sign? See, the light tells you the truth before you actually really find out the real truth, like you could blow out a tire, right? And there's a point where it really makes a difference. You have to start paying attention to not just the sign, but the symptom, right? Just because you can keep going another 50 miles, another 50 months, you still have a little money in the bank, right? You still have a couple of clients. It doesn't mean you're going to last. And so this is how I really want you to start thinking about your business. Where are you when it comes to some of these signs? Are you ignoring the signs? Are you paying attention to them? Are you taking action? The signs, the warning signs, are a call to action, CTA. Take action on this, not just ignore it, not stuff it. I'm going to put it in the back of my mind. I'll figure it out and think about it later. You actually have to take action on these things. And this is what I see happening right now with so much changing in the world. There's a lot of flux between the economy and the growth of markets with, the impact of AI and, economic shifts. A lot of business owners really don't know where to go. And so what are they doing? They're actually pulling over, kind of just sitting there waiting to see. They're waiting for the traffic to clear, figure out what lane should I pick. That's a mistake, right? All of the signs are there, but the key is you have to take action now. And if you don't, you will probably not be the one driving your own car. So what I want you to think about is, where are you in this whole process of your business? What is your reaction to the warning signs that are coming up for you? And I see that a lot of people are taking way too long. And why? Number one, they say, I don't have time, I don't know what to do, and I don't have the money, right? So all of those can be overcome, right? But the time is a warning sign. That's a sign that you're overwhelmed, right? And if you don't know what to do, that's because you don't have a strategic plan for your business. And if it's the money, the question is, where are you looking? How are you pricing things? And we're going to talk about that. How do you actually price the changes that you need to make? So in the racing world, I did not drive the car, wore every helmet, every hat but the helmet, right? And when you are racing, the driver has their helmet on and they have the crew chief in their ear. And when it's time to pit, they say, box, box, box. That means get out of the race, come into the pit stop. And you might have to change tires. When we were in Daytona, it was an awesome time. And so we were racing in Daytona for the 24-hour Le Mans, and we were doing really great. Guess what happened? We got all the way up to second place. It was fantastic. And I don't know if you know this, if you've ever watched racing on a big track, especially like Daytona, we also have spotters around the track. And the spotters are telling you also what's happening. Okay, there's a crash on turn 4, or there's lots of debris on turn 2, or the chicane is, real slick, whatever it is. Okay, so the spotters communicate to the crew chief, who communicates to the driver and who gives them instructions. So everybody has a role. And what's the driver supposed to do? One thing. The driver does only one thing, and that is drive. Keep the pedal to the metal and win the race. One goal, win the race. And it's a lot like in business, win the race. Okay. So if you want to see where are the pressure leaks in your business, scan that QR code. And there's a 2-minute quiz. that you can take and figure out exactly what the leaks are and how to fix it. It's free. You just fill out the questions, and then we'll give you a free report exactly how you fix the leaks that are in your business right now. Because again, you have to take action. This is what we want you to do. We want you to box, stop for a second, take the quiz, and take the action that it tells you, because chances are it's like me and my tire. You might have a hidden leak that you don't even realize. And so here's the problem. What's the pain of doing nothing, right? You start getting in this loop and you don't even realize you're in it. This is why you notice your business is flatlining. There's not really much upward projection. Or maybe you're like, oh, we're going to put growth on hold and we're going to get everything organized. I had someone tell me that just recently. I'm like, well, do you want to grow your revenue scale? No. We got to fix things first, because they thought everything was a mess. But they also did not have a plan to fix things. And so it's like this. What did I do? I saw that the light came on. I put a little air in. The light came on again. I put a little more air in, right? The light comes on again. And now I'm like, maybe I better go up a level and go to a dealer that can actually look at this and tell me what's wrong. Okay. Is this something I have to worry about, or is this just, a small incident? I thought maybe I have a nail in the tire, or some sort of a object that went in that I can just take out, patch it up again, and move on. How many times can you patch up your business? Not many. And same thing with a tire. You can't patch it up. And one of the interesting things that I found out is that they when they're doing that, they have actually requirements of, if you bring your car in, that there's certain kind of tires and certain types of situations where they actually can't put in any more air. It's against their safety requirements. And so when I brought in Klaus, my car, and asked them to check the pressure all the way around, they're like, yeah, this one is really low, but we can't fix it. Why? Because it was a run flat tire. And I didn't realize it, since I could drive on it without it looking flat. I thought it was still fine. But the fact that I did drive on it coming back from the beach, and I drove on it, and so now it was at a point where you couldn't repair it anymore. Okay, once you drive on a run flat, it's done. So now I have to actually replace the whole thing. So I went as long as I could to not make a change, to not take action on something that would have been very simple. But that ended up actually being a detriment. But I caught it early enough. And this is what I want you to think about is, can you catch the signs early enough, right? So there's two parts of this, right? So we can look at, filling the air. What happens when we do that? If we're just looking at filling the air, then we are kind of looking at, okay, I can refill the tire, I can replace the cap. I thought, because I forgot to put the cap on, I thought that's why it wasn't working. I could get a better tire gauge. Maybe my tire gauge was out. This is like patching it. This is dealing with the symptoms. And in business, it's like maybe you hire a better closer because sales aren't there, or you run another ad set, or maybe start a different email sequence or something like that, right? You just keep patching the symptom. And what you really need to do is check the structural integrity, right? In the car, I couldn't see inside the wheel, right? I couldn't see inside, and I couldn't see that the rubber was decaying. It actually had what they call a black ring, and I couldn't see that. And in your business, you don't see the revenue leaks. You don't see the underlying operational model problem that you have. And so on the outside, all four of my tires had great tread, but on the inside, the rubber was decaying. And where is that decay in your business right now? So when you look at the exterior, right, might look good. There was tread. You might still have revenue. You might still have a full calendar. But a calendar doesn't necessarily mean it's closing. So, what's the structural health of your business? Where are the internal breakdowns that look good on the outside, right? People are swearing, oh, yeah, they're coming. This client is coming in, or this is coming in, or yeah, we're going to buy that. Nobody ever does. Or people actually don't complete their payment cycle. There's a lot that can happen in your business. And if you're not paying attention to these signs, then you can start to get hurt. So, what are the signs that are stopping your business right now? What I want you to do is write this down. Go to leaks.iconicbusinessadvisor.com. And when you go there, you can actually take the little quiz, very short, couple minutes, and you will find at the very least the top 3 leaks you have in your business and exactly how to fix it. You'll get the report and you can go fix them right away. If you have any questions on it and you need our help, or you want to clarify the order or anything else, and maybe you're ready to change all 4 tires and have a real mechanic do it instead of your neighbor, then you can call us and go to callkoni.com. We're happy to hop on a quick 10-minute call, find out where you are, and then give you an actual diagnosis of your entire business. Look at the 7 core principles that determine if you do have a problem, because we don't actually engage with any client unless you can actually get a return on your investment. You have to actually have a big enough problem that we can fix, right? If it's minor, we're just going to say, hey, go here, do this. But if you want to engage us and employ an AI workforce in your business, then reach out to us. Go to Call Koni or IconicBusinessAdvisors.com, and then we can help you do that. So here's an interesting thing that happened. Remember, I told you we were racing. Our partners was Ford Roush Racing. And what happened when we were at Daytona? It was an awesome time. We were doing really great. We went from not very good, from the pit lane to a really good position. We were in second. We had a really good driver. Everything was going great. Speed, it was like clear sailing. And then what happened? I'll tell you. This happened. We were so close to the end of the race and we ran out of fuel. And it was amazing. Nobody knew what was wrong. They were like, wait, what's happening? They're looking at all the gauges. This was the gauge that was the problem. There was nobody watching the gas gauge. They were watching the road and they were watching other things, but nobody was paying attention to the fuel. And it's sort of like you're driving deaf, right? Like when you race, as a driver and in the pit crew and pit lane and everything, you put like your earplugs in, right? Because it is very noisy. And a lot of businesses are driving with these. They are driving with, their business with earplugs, and they don't listen to anything. And you really have to pay attention. So what's the cost of doing this, right? So we had a great race. It was going very well. Nobody was catching up, right? It was good. Everything was going well. Then the fuel ran out, and the truth is nobody's watching what was going on. Where is it that people aren't watching? And so you need some oversight in your business. This is why we talk about not just plugging in and tacking on and duct taping AI. We're talking about building a workforce for your business so that you have an intelligent, agentic workforce that can monitor these things and alert you to these problems. They are your spotters around the track that will do things for you, let you know, oh, we have a retention problem, or we can reactivate these clients, or these people are looking like they need an upgrade. All of these factors can be your spotters, your AI specialists that we employ in your business. And it's the right balance, right? You have to have the right balance. We call it carbon and silicon. Okay. And you have to have that right balance between the human and the intelligence to make everything work. And the human is on the loop. It's not in it. It's not caught up in it. Right now, as an owner of your business, you're probably very caught up in your business and you're playing operator and you're not playing owner. And that is a sure sign that eventually you're just going to be riding the bus to work. So you can't do everything at the same time. And if you're trying to, you're committing professional suicide because you can't drive and spot everything at the same time. That is what your agentic team needs to come in. So not only do we install the team for you, but also put it in an AI native. That means all AI, no legacy tack on Frankensteining of AI, putting everything together into one smooth substrate so it's a clear track to run on. And there's no outside interference or old systems. Even the whole thinking about this, right now people think, oh, I got to set up the workflow and I got to set up this and this part of the pipeline. No, you don't actually have to do that when you actually build an AI workforce in it. It thinks differently than the old way of doing business. So I was watching this happen when we were practicing. Okay, after Daytona, where it's a 16 circuit track, and we were that year doing, it's called the Koni Challenge. It's spelled like my name, Koni, but it's for Koni shocks that are in high-end cars, Porsches, Beamers, Mercedes, etc. And so they were sponsoring the Koni Challenge. I think there was 16 different race tracks that we went to for the whole circuit. It was really awesome. And then we rented the track, a Roebling track in Georgia, and we rented the track for a couple days so we could do some practice laps, and we were doing really great. What was happening is the driver was running and everything looked good. In the center of the racetrack, there was a big kind of mound, and I think that's like where they announcers and things would be. They could see all the way around the track, but our crew was on one side and the driver was going around. He was on a runner. He was like on his fastest lap, and then he went around the back end of the track, and then he was behind the mound. We couldn't see it. Then all of a sudden we hear a screech, crash, 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 and then dead silence, like the center of a hurricane, super quiet, and then smoke. And we're all like, uh-oh, what happened? And we run over, and golf carts running, driving, whatever, horses, anything we could get to get over there and see what happened. And the driver did several somersaults and cartwheels, landed upside down on the roof, on the tire wall. And shockingly, he was able to walk away. And the roll cage, they learned, didn't save it. His head was the stopping point. So they actually changed roll cages around that accident and all kinds of craziness, right? But the driver walked away. But what happened was, it wasn't just that. He couldn't actually drive again. He couldn't get back in the car. He got in the car, but he was not the same driver afterwards. He was so concerned about the cost of an accident and all of this that he actually started driving very safely on a track. It was very conservative. He was so afraid that a fix might be too much, right? And so he wouldn't risk to the win. He wouldn't risk to pass. He wouldn't actually do anything to get ahead on the track. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because I see this too. So many times business owners are running their business to be safe. They just want to stay in the race. They don't care if they're 15th, if they come in last, if they never see a checkered flag, if they never get a win, at least I own a business, right? This is not the game of business, right? This is not how you drive your business to success. You actually have to get in the game. You have to take some risks. You have to invest. You have to keep getting the best equipment. And you can't drive on bald tires in a race. And in your business, you can't drive with all your lights on your dashboard flicking on, telling you this isn't working anymore. So what happened? We ended up folding the company because the chief driver didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't even want to go out in the car. And I think a lot of business owners are really petrified to go out and get out there after a setback. And too many people are trying to play it safe when they could really do really well, right? He didn't lose talent. He lost faith in the system, in the car protecting him, right? And he just never got into it again. And so I don't want that to happen in your business, because that would really be a shame. A little crash, a little accident. No, that was a big accident. But what is it that's holding you back? We had a company that we were working with, a heavy equipment company, and they were doing $8.3 million in revenue. And looks like everything is good. They weren't losing revenue, but what happened was they were losing $1.3 million in hidden costs. That was just not there. They could have been well into the 8 figures, but that stopped them, right? And so what we did is we did a diagnostic. It's called TIPS. TIPS, right? The Iconic Profit software. We'll do a double data analysis on your business so you can actually see exactly where the leaks are in your business. We fixed 28 out of 32 of those and got all of that missing revenue back. That's how easy it is to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, or 7 figures to 8 figures. And so, the math is there. Okay. So when I looked at, okay, now I have to actually take action with my car, right? I can't keep just putting a fix on the symptoms. I had to actually change I call them shoes, right? Klaus's shoes. I actually had to change the thing that would get me to the next point, which is the tires. You can have the best engine, but if you don't have good tires on a car, you can't go anywhere. So what are the tires on your vehicle that need to be changed? And most of the time it's your workforce. And so by putting in an agentic workforce, you can change all that. Was it a cost? Absolutely. $600 a tire. That's not a little sum of money. But you know what it did? It, number one, got me in that right headspace. I was always worried, what if I have a blowout? What if I lose air again, right? Going on a trip to Florida, and I thought, what if I blow out on the freeway and I miss the plane? I was always worried, what if something happens? The what if. That's a nagging feeling, that Sunday night pressure you feel as a business owner. And what you want to do is just not have to worry about it, right? Just clear that out, have that set up. So yeah, invest in the thing that's going to take away all the risk and the worry and the challenge for your business. So again, I want to ask you this question. It's a very important question. What's the sign that's stopping your business? What is it? What's on your dashboard right now that you've ignored? You've patched it. You've tried different things. You've maybe even taken it off your dashboard so you don't have to look at it anymore. There's something that is holding you back. And not only is it holding your business back, but there are a couple ways that it's holding you back. Just go to leaks.iconicbusinessadvisors.com, take the quiz, takes 2 to 3 minutes, right? And what happens is, what you actually need, what's the fix, is like a standing crew, right? That works on the logistics and the strategy and the operations and the diagnostic analysis. So having that gives you the peace of mind that your business is going to work. You don't have to wonder, oh, what is the big sign that is holding me back? So what you want to do is have that freedom, right? To say, I will make this change to have this kind of freedom. There's 4 freedoms that you get when you actually fix your business and stop hiding behind your dashboard. Number 1 is the financial freedom. And like the business I showed you just a few minutes ago, maybe you would have $1 million upside in just a few months in your business. The second one is your personal freedom. And how much personal freedom do you have? Do you have the ability to take some time off? We have also another quiz if you want to try it, to figure out how long can you go away from your business before things start to crash. Do you have the personal freedom to take the time off, spend time with your family, do good things in the community, or go wherever you want to go? And then what about the physical freedom, where you are not the bottleneck anymore? Not everything has to turn to you before it can move forward in the business. This is the number one thing people are doing wrong in their business. They're so overwhelmed and they feel like, I need to control everything in my business. And the greatest control you can have in your business is to relinquish it, if you can let it go and you can have intelligence take over the control, where you take over building the plan, the legacy, and the thing that makes you different. So that is the key factor that you really want to look for. How do you get in the right role of leadership instead of being the employee and creating a job for yourself? And then, of course, the fourth level of freedom is just as important, right? That's the emotional freedom. Just trusting that you can get back in the car again, right? Not having to think and worry about your business 24/7 because you're not there. That's a heavy tax. That's a heavy cost on you. And if you can handle all of those things, right? If you could have the financial freedom, personal freedom, physical freedom, and emotional freedom, then that would completely change the trajectory of your business. And in order to do that, you can just go to callkoni.com. You can see it right there on the screen, and we'll help you figure out which of those four freedoms are you lacking and which one can we install right away. It can happen in 30, 60, 90 days, and you can just have some breathing space, right? And really drive your business to where you want it to go. So I hope that makes sense. I want you to think about what is happening in your business and really pay attention to it. Don't ignore the little signs. It's very important that you do take action, right? So you can do a couple things with us and we can help you out. For example, you might want to book a call with us, and you might want to take the quiz that we have, and you might want to just book a call and do our tip session where you can actually say, okay, this is the change that I need, right? So we can help you look at the diagnostics. We can build the system for you around your challenges with workforce and put in AI in an intelligent way, and not having 22-year-olds just come and say, I'll do this for $1,000 and give you an agent. That's not a real business. And then we can also help you master the mechanics and really figure out all aspects of your business. And you can even check out morgentic.com and find out how we can do all of that. So if you do want to take the Revenue Leak quiz, this is it. It's super short. Answer those simple questions right there. It's just going to take you a couple minutes, and then you will find out how much you're leaving on the table, where are the leaks, and then you'll get a report exactly how to fix it. So that is the best part of all. And if you look at everything, this is everything we talked about, right? I want you to stop worrying about just finding a quick fix. The problem is more than the dashboard. Just because a light comes on, it didn't stop your car, it doesn't mean you can't just sit there. You have to take action and start focusing on the solution. What do you need to do? Chances are when you need to make a change on the most significant part of your business, your tires, which is like your workforce, then change all four, right? Go all in, go all AI native. Don't just patch things. And doing the patchwork, and if you're trying to go AI and you're trying to patch everything on, it just doesn't work. Okay, so if you want a clear business, you want a simple, clear path and process, we can get you what we call cubed and show you this is how you build a business. I've done it building 5 multi-million-dollar businesses, generating over $50 million in sales, and we can do the same for you. So come back next Tuesday at 2 p.m. and we're going to take it to a whole other level and give you more strategies and principles that you can apply to your business right now that will make the difference. We'll see you next week. And until then, be iconic.